My name is Weiwei. I'm a Chinese, and I'm an artist. I'm an artist. My work has been presented globally, and each location have its own character or its own specifications, culturally, language, and interests. And each museum have its own characters. So my work are very much in relating to existent situation. Even the work can be done not directly connected, but the installation and the place work always make sense to the architecture, to existing cultural environment, and also to the character of the museum. In Lausanne, the museum is quite interesting space. It's a combination of museums. Some relate to contemporary, and some relate to history, and also natural history, and science. So we try to integrate our work into those different components to dealing with museum as a whole and as an idea. That is much more interesting just involved in contemporary art space. Of course, it's much more complicated. At the beginning, we are only doing contemporary. Then I visited the other museums. I have a great interest in very different component of this whole museum, which attract me very much. So I sit with the museum director, Bernard Fibicher. So we show the same interest. He gave me the green light to insert my work into this long-existing other type of museums, which I think will come out as the best result. The Duchamp's writing on his tombstone, right?
Exactly.
It's like there's always others who die.
Mm-hmm.
In English. I think it's very humorous and very interesting, and it tells our sensitivity about our condition in relating to others, and also our intention, and to look at the intention from the other angle. So I think it's perfect title for the show. I would say they're coming to see a show which is very important and dedicated to that location. And I would welcome those audience to come to see the show. And this is their chance to experience an artist who is from China, who has been very active, who has quite lively involved with exhibitions in very different circumstances. So it should be a very interesting show. After they see my show, they should go to have a good dinner or lunch. It's very good location. There's very beautiful scenery in Lausanne, and environment is so beautiful, so they should forget about the show. It does or does not. The difference between so-called East and the West has a historical difference in culture and in many other ways. But today, after the globalization and the internet age, I think that this distinction are quickly disappearing. I think to fight for freedom of speech is part of an artist's responsibility. And our creativity, our daily job is really based on the condition of that. And of course, today with dramatic changes in the world, the freedom of speech or freedom of expression is even more needed because the power structure become very differently. The mainstream media, the power of the economic mixed with political change become very dramatically different from past. So that really need an individual voice and to build strong in dealing with those changes. I think everyday people should be aware and should always defend the humanity. And if we don't do that, then the whole thing will be to be rotten, and this worst situation will come. So I think as democratic society, individual's voice is important. And those voices come first to be well-informed and to exercise your voice. I think people who think they have the freedom of speech may not necessarily. It's a true condition. Only through the fighting you can measure what you have. Otherwise, it could be an illusion. Freedom of speech is not a given right. It's a right through fighting, redefinition, and through effort of make that new ideas, new definition, new critical point. And so I don't think any place can say they already have a freedom of speech. So that only means they don't see the problem, or they don't really raise the question. They have the illusion. But as human, our mind will never stop. Our society also never stop. Or we will always meet new challenges. So I never think the democratic society or West world or even Switzerland does have perfect freedom of speech. If you can talk, who's going to listen? How it would affect to reality? Those are measurement of a freedom of speech. My practice on internet basically is very selfish one. It's for me to learn and relate to reality, but that is never enough because that's quick response. It's like artist sketch. Then I think from a long time practice on internet, gradually I hope I can come out new ideas in building my so-called artworks and to find a successful way of communication. I think it's fine. I think, people take some little piece of works and selling somewhere and to, get a profit or whatever. But that's reality, we're living in the real world, and the real world is like that. So, that's okay.
It's not something you're going to fight?
No, I don't think. I think there's much more important issues than than those things. See, I use Twitter and Instagram, but never check or those things. Is a surprise to me.
Okay.
And I don't think that's interesting to selling somebody's autographs. Art is part of life. I can never separate it. If I feel the art is not necessary, that means that's death coming. So for me, to breathe or to drink water or to enjoy the sunshine is same as my art. Activism has beauty, and beauty always have activism in there. If we see a beauty which doesn't really have a subversive and meaning, then that's not a beauty. I think life is such a precious, mysterious thing, and to understand that, take the whole life. And every day I appreciate I still can have the awareness and sharp sensitivity. That's the most rewarding thing for life. Food, sleep, and play. My short future is after this interview, I have another 2 interviews. So, and of course I have shows in Istanbul, I have shows in New York. My film is going to be in Venice Film Festival in 1 week. It's the world premiere for my film, Human Flow, I did on refugee situation. All my time is for create. Everything I act, every day, include this interview, is part of my creativity. I will see my work as one, so everything I present in this museum is one work. It's very hard to describe it. You have to come to see the show.